Okay guys, we are live. Let me just check if it's working properly. Mm, Yes, I think it's fine. Let's begin. Okay, let me just check my audio first. I think my audio is also fine. Perfect. All right, so let's begin. So, hey everyone, I'm Harshal Jain, your mentor at Geeks for Geeks. And guys, this is the second video of our teacher forum project. And we have basically called this project as Masters Gang. Okay, so basically what we have done till now is we created basic login sign up UI and this basic React.js setup and the UI part. But yeah, today we need to create the backend part. Okay, we need to connect the backend to the authentication of this front end, and then guys we're going to differentiate between teacher and student roles. Okay, so please watch the last video so that you would understand the diagram which I showed you initially in the part 1 in the very first video, so that you would understand that what we are trying to make exactly. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat it. You can just watch that diagram. I'll just okay, you can just go to the live section of Geeks for Geeks channel. There you would find the part 1. Okay, so you definitely search the same topic, same title, but part 1. Okay, so you'd find the video, and also I provided you the source code. Today also I'll update the source code and again provide you the link. So please watch the part 1 to understand this one. Okay, so today what we are going to do, it's very simple. You can see this is the login page. So the UI was created, but now we need to handle this, connect this with the backend. Okay, so I have connected this with the backend. I'll show you how I did it, but yeah, this is what you get at the end of this video. Okay, so for example, right now I have a user data. Okay, for example, VIRJ. Okay, and also guys, I will show you how you can implement the OTP service. Okay, so right, and here you can just add any email you want. So I can just check what email do I have. Okay, just give me a second. Let me just check what free email do I have so I can use that one, because I've already logged in with some emails. Okay, I think I got one email. I can use this one. Okay, so I'll use my email to send OTP. Okay, so 013@gmail.com. Okay, suppose I am a new user and I'm signing up with this one. Okay, so here guys, you can see that here you would get the OTP. Okay, so if I click on send OTP, you can see it's sending me OTP. And this is a free service, by the way, so I'll explain you how you can implement this. It's very easy, just a few lines of code, and you can just do this endless number of times. Okay, there is no limit. Okay, so you can see OTP is sent, and you can see that OTP is here. Sorry, I forgot to change the name here because I copied this from my other project. Okay, so yeah, I'll change this text, different things. Okay, but yeah, the main thing is you can see that this is the company's owner. Okay, this would be the company's email, but this company's owner, that means this would be customer support email or whatever it is. Okay, like you might receive emails from Geeks for Geeks also. So suppose this is Geeks for Geeks email and you have received an email from Geeks for Geeks. Okay, what is that email? This is the OTP which you received from Geeks for Geeks. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I'm logged in with viraj013@gmail.com, and this company messaged me 014. Okay, so don't get confused. This could be any company email. I just passed my email while setting up. Okay, well, I'll explain how it's done. Okay, so yeah, so you can see that 286,347. Okay, don't copy this one. Okay, so by the way, this code would only work with my email. And the password, suppose I just choose a password, so I need to choose a 6-digit password because I have set it a limit. And here guys, I can select either I want to be a teacher or I want to be a student. So let me just become a student. Okay, so now if I click on sign up, you can see that now basically what happened, you can see I'm signed up. Okay, so we are going to do that. So automatically I signed up, very easy. I don't need to log in again. I automatically got after registration, automatically I am logged in. Okay, I don't need to log in manually. Okay, so here you can see that when I go to the profile, you can see that since I'm a student, so you can see my name come here, email, then my role, and then classrooms I joined. Since right now there is no classroom, so it's empty, we can just add an empty loader or something like that, anything which I can. But right now I've just left it empty because I don't want to waste a lot of time in my UI, because I need to complete the project first, then finish, then add the finishing touches to the UI. Okay, so yeah, we only got one more video after this, so yeah, we have to fix everything, finish everything, then after that we'll focus more on the UI part. Okay, so now you can see that now I'm trying to log in with this. So suppose if I just add a wrong password, okay, now if I click on login, you can see invalid credential. Suppose if I add the correct password, okay, so if I add the correct password, okay, I think I just added wrong password maybe. Let me just check. Okay, everything is fine. I think just I just provided wrong password. Anyways, I'll just log in with another email which is valid. Okay, so suppose this was the user which I created. I forgot the password for 013. Okay, so now I'll just add its password. Okay, so you can see, yeah. So if you add correct ID password, so it would log in because this is saved in my MongoDB database. Okay, so you can see that this one which I registered is basically a teacher. So you can see now I'm logged in as a teacher who is Viraj014. Okay, and other people are suppose students. Okay, so you can create a student account or teacher account. It's depending on the sign up page. Okay, there you decide. Okay, and here you can see that you got the role as teacher. If you want to create a classroom, you can just name this classroom as GFG class MERN. Okay, and something like that. And if I give the description, MERN basics are taught here. Okay, so if I click on submit, you can see that basically I just got registered. Okay, this classroom just got registered, and this is the classroom which I created. Okay, I didn't join the classroom, I created this classroom because I'm the teacher. Okay, so even if I refresh thousands of times, if I just log out, okay, and if I just log in again, you can see that I'm logged in. And here guys, you would see that yeah, basically you can get this. Okay, so you can see that yeah, data is coming from the database. Okay, so what you are going to store in the Redux, I mean in the context, we are not using Redux, we are using basic context. So in context, we are just storing the user ID, and how we are going to check if the user ID is genuine or not. So first of all, you will get cookie also. So we are going to store cookies also, and with the help of cookies and different things, we can just know things. Okay, so it's very easy. Now you can see that this is it. The main purpose of the context was to just to show login logout here. Main purpose of that. Rest everything is handled by the cookie, because obviously you can't just rely on user ID only. You need a cookie authorized token. Okay, so that uh, you can access the website. Okay, so we are going to use authorized tokens or tokens. Okay, so basically this is all the thing which we are going to do today. And in the next videos, we are going to work on the student part. That means student can join classes and teacher can post data inside the class. Student can read that data. That could be done in the next video, but in this video we are going to do this much. Okay, so we have very less time, so I'm going to go really fast. Okay, so I hope you don't mind that much, because I'm going to provide you the source code. You can just get the source code from the link which I'm going to provide you. Let me just show you where is the exact source code. So you can just go to my GitHub account. Okay, so so just go to the GitHub account. What you need to do is you can just simply type github.com/viraj014. Okay, this is my GitHub account. Okay, you can follow me here, and also you can contact me via LinkedIn if you have any doubts. Okay, And now here you can see we have Masters Gang front end. Similarly, guys, in this video, I'm going to upload the backend part also. So you would get the front end and backend code at the end of this video. Okay. And this would be the second video. First videos is also only the front end part. So it's available here. I'm going to update this along with the backend code also we provided in a separate repository. And the third video, we're going to complete everything. Okay. So this is the second video, right? So guys, now let's continue. Let me just see what's happening in the live chat. Okay, guys. So, hi Raghavendra, hi Ashwarya. Guys, if you have any doubts, you can mention in the live chat or in comment section, or you can contact via LinkedIn. Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to first of all set up a few basic things. Okay, so first of all, what you need to do is I would just open Google Chrome. Okay, I'll just show you a few basic things. Hi Karthik, I'll show you a few basic things. Right, so here guys, what you need to do is you just need to first of all go to Gmail. Okay, Gmail. Why Gmail? Let me just show you. Okay, so suppose this is my company's email. Suppose from this email I'm going to send email to everyone. Okay, so if I click on manage your Google account, okay, just go to your email. Here, your two-step verification must be on. Don't worry, I'm not trying to hack your account, but to send or receive emails, you need to do a few settings here. It's totally safe. Okay, don't worry, it's an authorized method by Google. Okay, it's Google, right? So yeah, you can just go here, and here you just need to search for app password. So here you need to generate a password, and you're going to add this password to your Node.js backend, so that from your backend only you can send or receive OTP. That's it. Okay, so basically you can see it's gonna definitely verify, sir. Bhula Yadav, hi Bhula. So here you can see that basically here we have to create a password. Okay, so I'm just going to call this as masters gang. Okay, and I'll just click on create. Okay, you can see this is the password. Obviously I'm going to delete this later, but you can see this is the password. Okay, so this is it. Right now I'm just going to use this one, but please create your own. It's not something which is very I would say privacy related. Okay, you can just use this one. There is no issue. Is there a problem if we use Firebase for storage with MERN project? MongoDB does not support storing videos or any other types. I would say you can use Firebase, but generally what people do is MongoDB only stores the text-based content. Okay, like the URL of the image, not the image, URL of the image. So where are you going to store the image? The first option is you could have used Firebase. Second option is you can use cloud services like AWS or Google Cloud. Okay, so for storing things like images, videos, and so on, in this project, we are not going to store that media because we don't have that much bandwidth of time. But if you are using that, what you can do is you can just call AWS. You're going to store your videos, images, PDFs into the S3 bucket. You're going to connect that S3 bucket to your Node.js. Okay, so your data, media type of data would be stored in AWS. And from that, you will get the URL. That URL would be stored in MongoDB. Okay, that's why we are using it. Why we are not using Firebase? Because Firebase is simply costlier. Okay, I don't want that, and it has a lot of limits, like you can only send this much amount of requests. I don't want that. I want a complete project. I want it to be less costlier also, and I can't rely on a single service like Firebase. Though it's great, I've used it a lot, but right now I don't want to create projects on that. Okay, definitely you can do use Firebase also, but Firebase has usage limits for free tier, and second is if you purchase it, it's costlier. Okay, that's why we are using MongoDB. And you want to store media type of files, you're going to use AWS. For AWS, you're going to get 1 year of subscription for free, so you can just use AWS. Why is there any issue? Why? I don't think there is any issue. You can just use AWS, right? Okay, so here we have just created this masters gang, and then what else you need to do is I'm just going to come here. Okay, and I'll just going to create a txt file for now. Okay, and here I'm going to save my password in this txt so that it's saved. Okay, so what else you need to do is you need to go to MongoDB, MongoDB Atlas. Okay, just search for this one, MongoDB Atlas. Okay, here we're going to create a fresh database. Okay, so if I click on sign in, and here guys, we can simply wait. You can see that right now it's not here. I think my Google account is already signed in. That's why it automatically loaded. So I'm logged in with my Google account. So you can just log in with your Google account. It's totally free. It has a free tier also. Okay. So here you can just go to database, right? What you needed to do is you can just create a new project. Okay. So I'm just gonna say here, you can see you have this page of creating a project. Okay. Once you go to this page, you can just type the project name. So I'm just gonna type the project name as MASTERS Masters Gang Live. Okay, so because I'm doing this live at Geeks for Geeks, so that I remember that this was a live project. Okay, that's it. Later on I'm gonna delete this obviously. So right now you can just click on next. Okay, and I'm the project owner, but you can add other people also. Yeah, you can just add more people who you want to access this database. Okay, so you can just click on create this project. Okay, inside this project we're gonna create our database cluster. So definitely you need to have knowledge of MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. Without that, you won't be able to do this. Okay, so here you can see that the project has been created. Here we are going to create a cloud database. That means we don't need to download anything, keep data into our computer, into our backend or anywhere. We're gonna store it here in cloud. Okay, and it has some free usages. You can just read more about it, or else here we are gonna see the usage limits of MongoDB. Okay, although it's sufficient for free tier. Okay, like obviously you are creating a sample project for now, you're not creating a project for lakhs of users, right? So for some users, for handling some users, MongoDB free tier is fine, right? So I'm just going to create a cluster here, and here you can see that this is the M0 free one. Okay, so you actually get this much amount of cloud storage, database storage. I think it's a lot storage because you're just going to store text based things, not images, not media. So it's going to be in KBs or maybe less than that. Okay, so that's why, yeah, this is fine. Okay, so this amount of storage, I think I never filled this amount of storage ever. Okay, but yeah, if in future you're going to make a full-fledged project, then definitely, yeah, you can purchase this one or this one, whatever you feel like, right? So I think this is fine. Yeah, I think this is fine. Here you can select the provider, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. I usually go for AWS because I know how to handle with that. Although it's not related, you don't need to know AWS for this. Okay, just it's like whatever you feel better. If you feel Google is faster, Google database is faster, then definitely go for that and things like that. But I'm gonna select AWS. I think, yeah, just मन किया यार. Okay, gut feeling. Okay, you can go for Azure also, Google Cloud also, all of them are great. Now I can just simply click on create deployment. That's it. So it's gonna create a cluster for me. Let's wait again. So you can see that it has created a cluster. I am just going to create a user here. Okay, so here I'm just gonna create a user. I'm just gonna give this username as HJ123, password HJ123. Okay, but yeah, please make it stronger. Right now for this tutorial, I'm just keeping it very easy so that I don't forget things. Okay, and I can just delete it later. Okay, so yeah, now I'm just going to click on create database user. Now you can see it's asking for choose connection method. Then you can see it's gonna, you just need to click on compass and you can see that it's provisioning. That means it's creating things. You have to wait for a few 2-3 minutes. Okay, so yeah, this is it. This is what we needed to do, and I think there is no extra thing. Okay, fine. So this is what we needed to do. Now guys, we are going to start our backend, create our backend. Okay, so let's close this and let me just first of all open this. So you can see that we created a master gang GFG folder. Inside that, in last video we created the React.js project. Fine, this is uploaded, this is the front end. Okay, now I'm going to create a folder for my backend. Okay, so I'm just gonna call this one masters gang, MASTERS gang backend. That's it. Okay, and I'm just gonna open this. Actually, I'm gonna open both of these. I'm gonna open both of these. So I'm gonna open both of these here, open with code. Okay. So once you open this, okay. So basically what happened is in the last video, we created this front end, and in this video, we're going to create basic backend, some advanced backend. I'm going to connect this with the front end. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. I'm gonna go really fast. You need to have knowledge of Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB, and React.js. Only if in that case you're gonna be able to complete this. Okay, and I'm also going to provide you the complete source code of the backend and for the front end. Don't worry about that, the repository would be available. Okay, so just try to understand things. If you have any doubts, you can mention in the live chat. Okay, so now let's continue. Okay, so pretty easy. First of all, I'm just gonna open this in integrated terminal. So you can see that I have opened my backend here. I'm just gonna write here npm init. So it's gonna initialize an empty project for me. I'm just gonna hit enter, enter, enter. Okay, and you can see that inside this now I got package.json. Okay, so it has created some empty things. Now what else you need to do is I'm going to provide you all the dependencies which I'm going to use. Basically, there are some dependencies. So what you're going to do is just write here dependencies. Okay, and inside this, in the upcoming uh, few minutes, I'm going to use these dependencies. What dependencies will be crypt, body parts, and so on. I hope you know all of these. Okay, so you can just copy this from my source code. These are all the dependencies. I'm not going to install them one by one. Just copy this from my source code. Okay, so we're going to use bcrypt, body parser, cookie parser, course, .env, express, json, web token, mongoose, node miller. If you don't understand anything, please search more about it. And if you are, I think all of them are usual things, but you can see the new one is node miller. So node miller is the one which is going to help us to send emails, send OTPs, okay, to other people. Okay, so here guys, I'm just gonna say that npm npm install, so that all these dependencies which we pasted here are installed in node modules. That's it. Okay, so you can see that it's gonna install things for us. Okay, let me just zoom it. Okay, fine, now it's more visible, right? So you can see that in the backend folder we have initialized it. Now what we need is we need index.js. Okay, then we need what? We need db.js. Fine, then what else we need? We need an env file, so .env. Okay, then what else we need? We need middlewares. Okay, so okay, actually it's a folder now. Okay, so middlewares folder. Okay, then what else we need? We need models. Okay, here we're gonna store MongoDB models, schemas. Okay, and here guys, after that we need one more folder for routes, and it's kind of a architecture which I follow, although there are a lot of better architectures, MVP architectures which you can follow, but this one is easier. You can just modify this to a MVP. Okay, very easy. But yeah, for beginners and for for faster things, you can just use this one, but traditionally company follows MVP architecture, so you can just shift to that. That's the way of organizing folders. Okay, but this is also fine. Okay, so here we have the index.js. Okay, and in index.js what we need, so we need to import all of these things. Okay, then guys, I'm just going to say I'm going to allow my application to use .env files. Okay, that means I need to connect my .env file. So with the help of this, my .env file would be connected. Okay, then guys, we are gonna get the port from my env file. So in my env file, I'm just going to say that my port is 5000. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. Okay, and let's go to our database actually. So you can see that it's provisioning, and you can see that let me just refresh. Okay, you can just go to database, and in database you can just click on connect compass, and you can see that you got this URL. Just copy this one and you have to paste it here. Okay, so what we are actually going to have, okay, so basically we are going to have all of these things. Okay, fine. So these are all the variables which we're gonna have, and out of this, this is the MongoDB URL which I generated. Okay, which I generated, right? Then this is the random database name which I gave. Okay, you can write here XYZ also. There is no issue. Whatever you wanna write, you can write. Okay, so it's not any compulsion you need to write MyDB1 or you need to set up anything. You can just write anything here. Okay, so after that you can see that I've given port as 5000. You can give any port, but generally backend has 8000 or 5000. Okay, then I have given front end URL. Okay, so it's like Geeks4Geeks cannot access my backend. This only this front end can access my backend. Okay, that means geeksforgeeks.org URL cannot access my backend. Okay, if here I have written geeksforgeeks.org, then my backend would be connected with geeksforgeeks.org. else it won't be connected. Okay, so that's why for authorization, for recognizing the front end URL in the backend also, you can define the front end URL so that you can recognize, okay, so this is my person who is trying to access me. Okay, so that it can be stopped from hacking. Okay, or else any front end URL, if any front end URL have access to your backend, then obviously you would be hacked. Okay, that's why you need to define this, and then we can use it for checking security purposes. Okay, then JWT secret key, so you can just give any value here, you can just give any value here. Here you need to write the email from which you generated app password, remember, right? So in the initial video we generated app password, something like this. So you need to just pass the email and this. Okay, so this would be the company's email or customer support email, okay, through which OTPs would be sent to customers. Okay, so this is customer support email. Okay, it's not a any random email, it's customer support email. Okay, so you can use your email, you can use any other email, it's up to you, but this email would be used to send emails to other people automatically with the help of your backend. Okay, then we have the Gmail app password. So yeah, you just copied the Gmail app password, just paste it here, and it would be done. Okay, so now I think I can just close this one. Okay, I hope now you know what's in the env file. I just showed you everything. Now guys, what we need is we are going to create routes. Okay, so we are going to create a routes file here. Okay, so I'm just gonna call this as authrouts routes.js. Okay, similarly I'm gonna create another file named as classroom routes.js. Okay, fine, so I've created two files here. I'm going to use these files, and then in the utils we are going to create a file known as responsefunction.js. Okay, so here we are going to create a function. Then guys, we are going to go to the models. Okay, so in models we are going to create three types of models. I'm just gonna say one model would be for the classroom. Okay, what's the structure of my classroom? Obviously it would contain an owner ID, the teacher ID, right? Teacher is the owner. Second would be the classroom name, classroom description, and third field would be an array of students who have joined this classroom. That's it. Okay, so we're gonna create a schema for that. And the next thing would be user model. Okay, so either you're a teacher or student, you're gonna follow this one. Okay, so user model, so either you're a teacher or a student, you're gonna be following this schema. Okay, and for creating the account. And the third one is verification models, verification model.js. So it's kind of, I'm going to use this for storing OTPs and removing OTPs for temporary purposes. Okay, so that's why we are creating a model for that. That's it guys, we have all of these things, and now after that what we need is we need to have middleware also. Okay, so I'm going to have a middleware file here. I'm going to call this one check auth token dot js. Okay, so here I'm going to check the auth token so that I know that okay, this user is authorized or not. Okay, that means the cookie or the token which I get from the front end is valid or not. If it's valid, then only I'm gonna proceed the request, else I'm gonna say user not authorized, user logged out, something like that. Okay, so it's very important to check the auth token again and again. Fine, I think now I can continue. Valencia Walker, hi Valencia. Okay, fine, perfect. So I think now I can just go back here. Okay, you can see that I have created some files, right? Now here what we need to do is we need to come to index.js, right? So in index.js I have imported the port also. I'm also going to write require db so that I can just use my database. I can just start my database as soon as my application starts. Now I'm gonna create an array. You can just allow multiple front-end URLs. So here I'm just saying that allowed origin. So I'm saying that this front-end URL can access my backend. So I've just first of all called that in the index.js page. Later on I'm gonna use this front-end URL. Okay, so right now I've just called it. That means if you print allowed origin, so it's gonna give an array of URLs. Okay, one of that URL is localhost 3000. Okay, so you can see localhost 3000. That means I'm assuming my front-end is here. Later on when you host your front end into a URL like google.com suppose, so here in the backend you need to pass https google.com. Okay, so that Google can access my backend. Okay, so whatever front-end URL you want to access your backend, you need to pass it. You need to pass it in the env file. That's it. Okay, now after this, we have to simply allow course. Course would simply check if the front-end URL is genuine or not. So for that, I need to pass app.use. Okay, inside this, I'm gonna write course. Okay, and it's pretty much you would find in every MERN project. I think it's nothing new. Here I'm just gonna say that the origin, that means the URL, you need to check this. Okay, you need to check the URL. And what else you need to say is you need to also check credentials, that means cookies. Okay, so credentials would be true. Okay, so you also need to check the cookies, always just keep it true. True is actually not this one, it's the boolean one. Okay, fine. Now inside this, guys, I'm just gonna say that if my URL matches with allowed origins, okay, if allowed origins, okay, if allowed origins, like it's like if localhost 3000, suppose I am trying to access this backend from google.com, but front-end URL which is allowed is localhost 3000. So google.com cannot access. But if here google.com was written, then what would happen? The origin would be taken out. Okay, then allowed origins list would be taken out. It would match. Okay, google.com is there in my list. That means I am allowed to access the whole backend. Okay, so it's gonna be a safety check. Not any random front end can access this backend. Okay, so it's a safety check. Okay, so I think now it's fine. And in the else case, I can just return some kind of error, course error. Okay, so generally in websites you see the course error, right? In one stack projects happens because of that. Okay, so you can define it like this properly, so it would help you a lot. It would make things secure. Okay, then after that, I'm just gonna say body parser would be added so that you can just form JSON things. Okay, you can just read JSON things. And then after that, we need to add the cookie parser because we are going to use cookie as tokens to recognize the user. So you need to use cookie parser. Here you need to just give a few flags. Okay, and then after that you can just simply say the duration for which the token would be valid, the cookie would be valid. It won't be valid forever, it would be valid for some time. Okay, then after that it would be a signed token, signed URL. Okay, that's it. Now after that, guys, I'm just gonna say import my auth routes and classroom routes, right, from routes folder. Okay, I've imported all these two. Then I'm just gonna say I am creating sub routes. Okay, so here I'm saying that if my backend is running in localhost 8000, then if I write slash auth, so I would be gone inside this. Okay, if I write slash class, so I would be gone inside this. Okay, so that's why I've written this. Okay, so you can see the exact files are written here. Okay, that's it. And just to test this, I'm just gonna say if someone just opens the backend, it would return this hello world. Okay, and just for testing, if someone writes this, it would return Harshal 45 mail. Okay, something. By the way, I'm not 45. Yeah. Okay, so the last thing is you're listening to this port. Example app is listening on this port. Okay, so before continuing, obviously I need to first of all comment this. Let me just comment this out, and I'm gonna focus on db.js also. Okay, so inside db.js, what you need to do is, again, you are going to import mongodb, mongoose. Okay, then we are going to start our env so that it can recognize env. Then, guys, we are gonna say mongo url and db name, so it would be imported from the env file, right? Then after that, you're just gonna connect your mongodb database. So mongoose.connect, we are going to connect to this mongodb atlas url, and this would be the database name. It can be anything. You can just write your name here at this point. You don't need to do anything to atlas. You can do everything here. Okay, the db name part. If it's connected, you're gonna get connected. If it's not connected, you're gonna get an error. Okay, so let's save and run. So I'm just gonna type nodemon. If you don't know what's nodemon is used to start the node.js projects. The purpose of this is you don't need to restart again and again. Automatically, whenever you make a change in your file lively, it would restart the server. Okay, so it has a benefit, saves some time. Okay, so for that you just need to type npm I nodemon flag g, that means globally, so that you don't need to install again and again. Okay, so mine is already installed, so it's not going to waste my time. So you can see that what happened. So you can see that's returning some kind of error. What's the error? Error is already in use. I think my code is running somewhere else, that's why. Okay, it was running somewhere else. Okay, fine. Now if I just save it again, now it would run properly. Okay, there wasn't any issue. Okay, it's proper. You can see example app listening on this connected to db. Okay, so you can just name it as masters gang backend. Okay, so you can just write it something like this. If I press Ctrl S, you can see automatically it restarted. Okay, so that has actually a lot of benefits for us, right? So now let's continue, guys. This is the basic backend setup. Now I need to check if it's running properly or not. So I can just go to which URL, localhost 5000, localhost colon 5000. Okay, so this would be localhost 5000. You can see hello world, and if I write what's the other thing slash get user data, so you would simply get Harshaljan 45 mail. That means my backend is running properly. Okay, so now I need to do the inner stuff. Okay, what's the inner stuff? Which is basically auth routes. Okay, so now let's focus on auth routes. Okay, so we're gonna focus on auth routes. Let's come here. Okay, so you can see that right now obviously it's gonna crash because we haven't written anything inside the auth routes. Okay, we're gonna do everything, we're gonna write everything here. So first of all, guys, basically we're gonna use express. Okay, then we're gonna use user model. Okay, so I'll just go to user model. Okay, here in user model I'm gonna say I'm gonna use mongoose and bcrypt. Okay, then what kind of user schema we are going to have? So we are going to simply say inside this we're gonna have the name field. Okay, we're going to have the email field, password field, and the role field. Okay, and the role field. So role can be two values, either teacher or student. So that's why you need to write enum here. Apart from that, any other role would not be taken. Okay, here you can add more fields like principal or whatever you want, but this platform we are creating for only two people, teachers and students. Okay, so yeah, you can see name, email, password, role. This is done. Okay, and whenever you make a change, I'm gonna say timestamps would be true, so created at, updated at fields would be shown. Okay, don't worry about this error, we're gonna fix this later. Okay, then after that, whenever I'm trying to update the password or set the password, I don't want the password to be hj123. Okay, I want it to be some hashed password. So for that we use bcrypt. Okay, so I'm just gonna say get the current user which you are trying to save. I'm just gonna say if in that user you have changed the password, if you're trying to change the password, you are trying to set the password for first time, in both cases the password would be modified, right? If password is modified, then simply hash the password and set it again. That means convert hj123, convert hj123 to something like this. Okay, so it's gonna hash the password. Then I've modified the user password, that means modified the user password object, and just call next. Okay, so next would simply save things to the database. Okay, where whenever you are calling the save operation. Okay, so after that you just need to say that this model would be exported. Okay, that's it. Now I'm gonna come here in auth routes. Okay, fine. Similarly, guys, I'm gonna have verification model. So let's come back here in verification model. Here I'm gonna have only two things. Okay, so the first thing would be the email. Okay, first thing would be the email, second thing would be the code. Okay, so this is also going to be stored in the database. Don't worry about this, I'm going to explain this properly when I'm using the OTP part, so it's helpful for the OTP part. Okay, then I'm simply saying whenever you are saving this in the database, whenever you are saying saving OTP in the database, in that case hash the OTP, and just go next. Okay, that means if OTP is 1234, in database it's gonna be saved in hash format, xyz something like that, hashed format. Okay, so that if any hacker by chance goes to the database and tries to see the OTP value, they cannot see this. That's why hashing is helpful. Okay, so you'll understand this when you see the things in the database, but yeah, I needed to provide this. Okay, so again, guys, now we are going to come back here, and after that we are going to talk about the response function. So response function would be type of format which we are going to use as a response always. Okay, so here I'm just gonna say whenever I am giving some kind of response, it's something like in JSON format, iris.json, then you have the status code. So these are all the parameters I'm gonna send to the response function from other pages like auth routes. Okay, and it's just gonna return iris data. So it's kind of a format which I'm going to follow so that consistent responses are given to the front end. That's it. Okay, and here I'm just gonna say module.exports response function. That's it. Okay, now after that come back to auth routes, and guys, here what you need to do is, . Here guys, you need to simply say we need to import node mailer and .env. We are going to use .env here, so just import the config. Then we are also going to create a sub router. Okay, so we are going to create an instance of router so that we can handle routes in this page also, auth routes page also. That's why. Okay, so now here we can just say that we are using bcrypt for decoding the password. Okay, here we encoded the password, we created the hash format. Here we need to decode the password while logging in. Okay, we are going to compare HJ123 with the hashed password of database. So for that, we need bcrypt here also. Okay, you will understand that while being implemented. Then after that, I'm going to use this middleware. Okay, so inside this middleware, what we are going to do? Okay, so it's very simple. We are going to check the JSON web tokens. First of all, import it. Okay, then you're just going to say that this is some kind of function. Okay, and here what you're going to do is you're going to get these tokens. Okay, and I'm just gonna say next here. For now, I'm just gonna say next here. Okay, I'm going to complete this function later. For now, I'm just going to say next and export this function. Okay, so I'm just saying this function would be called, it would check the token. Right now it's not checking, it's just empty. Later on I'll complete this. It would check the token. If token is valid, then I'm gonna say yes, else I'm gonna say no. Right now I'm just saying next. That means whatever next needs to be happen, it would happen. Okay, that's why I've done it. Okay, now I'll just come back to my auth routes. Here guys, what we are going to do, we are first of all going to create our mail. Okay, what mail as OTP we are going to send. Okay, so here for that you can just search for node mailer documentation. You would understand this. You just need to simply say node mailer dot create transport. Okay, right? Inside this guys, what you need to do is here you need to write who is your host. So obviously it's a Gmail. Okay, Gmail would be the host. Okay, then here after that you just need to say port 587, secure, false, required TLS2. So these are some params which you need to always pass. Then after that, here you need to provide the ID password of the company. So this would be the company email and its app password which we generated. Okay, so you just need to provide that. Done. That means now your Node.js application is authorized to send OTPs directly. Okay, you don't need to open Gmail to send messages, send email. If we can do this with the help of this Node.js backend. Okay, so you need to authenticate here. We have authenticated, we have provided things. That means we are genuine. Okay, then after that, here guys, we're simply going to say when we are going to call this. Okay, so send email. So inside this, what we are going to provide, we are going to simply say from team what team masters gang. Okay, from team masters gang and OTP for masters gang. Okay, here you're gonna provide receiver email. Suppose receiver email is hj123@gmail.com. So this company email is gonna send OTP to hj123@gmail.com. Okay, so this would be the receiver's email which I'm gonna provide to this mailer function. Okay, that's why I'm creating it as a function because I'm gonna call it again and again. Then after this, you're gonna simply say this text. This text would be shown in your email and again in HTML format. Okay, you need to provide these things. Okay, so once this happens, you're just gonna say whatever is the message ID you will receive. Okay, if the message is sent, you'll receive the message ID. Okay, so I'm just gonna say if message ID exists, then it would return true, else it would return false. That means OTP is sent or OTP is not sent. Okay, so it would give you a message ID just to print. Okay, just to print. Okay, just to check. Okay, now guys, here I'm just gonna say, just to test this route, I'm simply going to say if someone types the route name slash, okay, that means slash auth slash, so it's gonna return this message. Okay, and let me just close this for now so that we can test it. So you can see once I close it, you can see automatically the error is gone. Now let me just first test it. Okay, so here you can just say auth, you can see auth route home. So that means it's working perfectly. Okay, so that's it. Now after that, what you need to do, you need to create the API to send OTP. Okay, so right now we are signing up. Before signing up, we need to generate OTP also. Okay, so here guys, we need to create the send OTP API. I'm just creating this API. Here you need to simply ask for the email from frontend. That means receiver's email. That means customer's email who is trying to register right now. So that person's email would be asked, and we are going to send email to this person. Okay, so I'm just gonna first of all say that if email doesn't exist, call the response function. Inside that, just provide the response status, email is required, this is data field, and this is okay field. Okay, so okay is false, data is null. Okay, so that's how, yeah, you can use response function again and again, so that it's consistent and you don't need to write longer things again and again repetitively. Okay, so that's the benefit of response function, right? So here I'm going to use try catch. So in the catch part, again we're going to say that if there is any error, just show that status code, internal server error, error value in the data field. We're going to provide the error, and okay would be false, obviously. Okay, so now here I'm just going to say that if you are going to send OTP, okay, so obviously same email would have received OTPs before, so I'm just gonna say that find that specific email object if it's already sent, has previous OTP. That means in database, obviously, suppose I have forgot the password, okay, or I have not I have registered, but I have tried to send OTP again and again 10 times, so it's not going to store any before OTP. So that's why I'm saying just clear all the before OTPs available in the database of this verification modal. Okay, that's why it's here. Okay, then after that you're gonna say generate a code. So here I'm just using math.floor, but you can use a proper package for this one. Okay, obviously this is not the good way. Okay, it can be guessed very easily. You need to use the proper methods. Okay, but right now I'm just using math.floor to generate a 6-digit code. So it's generating a 6-digit code. Okay, then I'm simply going to call that function, mailer function. It would simply say receiver email and the code. So to that specific receiver, I would send the OTP. Okay, then I'm simply going to save this in my database also. You're not going to send OTP to the front end. You're going to save this to the email of that person. Okay, and also you're going to save this to the database, so that later on when front end provides the OTP for testing, for checking, for comparing, then it would be checked with the database. Okay, so that it's very secure. Okay, so from the database I'm going to compare the OTP with the OTP which front end user has provided. Okay, so in the database I have provided the email. In that specific email the code would be added. Okay, so once this is added, OTP is sent. Okay, so you have to actually save this to the database. Okay, then you're just gonna say OTP sent successfully. Okay, so you're just gonna say if it's not sent, internal server error, blah blah blah, or else you're gonna say OTP sent successfully, right? This is it. Then similarly, guys, we're gonna need to add the register API also. Okay, so we're gonna add the register API, right? And let's close this one. Here, guys, we're gonna simply ask for a few details: name, email, password, OTP, and the role. Okay, then I'm gonna simply say if some fields are missing, just throw error like this one, right? And then, guys, if everything is fine, I'm gonna call the try catch like this. Okay, inside the try, what I'm gonna do is I'm simply going to say that if everything is fine, okay, I'm first of all going to find that user. Okay, I'm going to find that user. Okay, if user already exists, I can't register again. If user doesn't exist, then I can register. And also I want to find the OTP of that user who is trying to sign up. Okay, we would need that OTP. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that if user exists, okay, then you're just going to say user already exists, because we are trying to register. We cannot register already existing user, right? So this is going to be the error. If OTP doesn't exist, then you're going to say please send OTP first. Okay, if you are trying to sign up, you need to first of all send OTP here. Okay, so this would be the error. Then after that, if OTP is also sent, that means you're going to simply extract the OTP. So for that, guys, what you need to do is you're going to compare this OTP sent by the front end from the OTP of this database, okay, collection. So we are just going to say just compare, since OTP is saved in hash format in database and front-end user would provide 1234 type of OTP. Okay, so you need to compare it with the help of bcrypt. So this hashed value would be compared with this normal value. Okay, this normal value is front-end value and this hash value is coming from where? From my database. Okay, verification queue database. Okay, since now if both of them don't match, okay, if both of them don't match, simply going to say invalid OTP. If both of them match, then we are going to create a user. Okay, so we are just creating a user, name of email of that user, password. Again, you have to hash that password to save it. Actually, the problem here is I am doing one mistake, which is why am I hashing again and again, right? So I'm just going to say password. Actually, the password. That's it, because I'm already hashing it in my modal, in my user modal, you can see I'm already hashing the password here. So why hash again before saving the user? Okay, so I have already hashed it, just save it like this. Okay, so after this, guys, what you need to do is you're just going to save the user. That's it. And after that, you're going to delete that OTP from the verification model so that it's cleaned properly. Okay, then after that, you're going to generate tokens. Okay, auth token and a refresh token. Okay, so auth token would be generated. You're going to write jwt.sign. In that, you're going to pass an object containing user ID, containing a secret key HJ123 and the expiry. Similarly, refresh token would be containing user ID, secret key and expiry. Okay, that's it. So we have generated two tokens out of our user ID. Okay, then after that, you can just set this to the cookies. So res.cookie auth token, and just going to save it like this. Okay, again you're going to save the refresh token. Okay, so you're going to set this to the cookies. Now these cookies would be sent to the front end, so it would be set it in the front end cookie. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So from backend also you can set the cookie of front end. Okay, you just need some permissions, and after that you can just make the password field undefined, and you can just send this as a response to the user. Okay, registered successfully, the user object which is registered right now, the tokens. Okay, and obviously this true would be containing the okay value is true or okay value is false. Okay, this is what, this is the data, this is what, this is the message, this is what status, this is the res. Okay, that's it. Okay, so you can see registration is also done. You can see registration is also done. Now we need one more API, which is what, login API. Okay, so again login is very easy. You just need to pass it like this. Okay, so here guys, what we are going to say is we are going to say that we need to ask for email and password from the front end. Okay, and again I'm just gonna say, okay, I think I can pass it to try catch actually, and in the catch case I can just say that this is the catch case. Okay, so here guys, I'm just gonna say these are the few things. I'm just gonna say ask for email and password from front end, find that specific user. If that user doesn't exist, that means you have to register or you have invalid credentials. Okay, if ID or password are wrong, invalid things. Okay, invalid credential, the ID is wrong, actually email is wrong. If password, okay, so we are going to compare the password provided by the front end HJ123 and the hash password in the database. If both of them match, then it's fine. If they don't match, simply going to return this invalid credentials. Okay, then after that we are going to simply say auth token and refresh token. We are going to just generate this since the user is now logged in. Okay, that means the ID and password provided by the user is correct, so we're going to generate the tokens. We're just going to make the password field undefined, and then after that we are just going to set the tokens in cookies. Okay, like this only, and we are going to send this response to front end. That's it, pretty easy, right? Then after that we are going to create an API for checking the login. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to provide you the source code, but yeah, I'm going to explain this in fast so that we can finish the project. Okay, so here guys, we are just going to close this one. Okay, what happened? Okay, we need to close it like this, right? Here guys, in check login, what we need to do is we are just going to simply return a response provided by this auth token handler. Auth token handler would simply check the tokens which we created, auth token and refresh token. Okay, so it would check the tokens. So if its response is okay, true, then what we are gonna say, then this would be, then this would run, else it would handle the error itself. Okay, but if the stage here has passed, so I'm simply going to return what, I'm simply going to return this okay message user ID. Now how do I get the user ID? You will get the user ID from here. User ID, remember when we are creating tokens, you can see we are storing the user ID in tokens. Okay, so this function, this auth token handler would simply extract the user ID if user ID exists and token is valid. That means 1 day or 10 day, whatever limit you have set. If token is valid, then it would return yes along with the user ID, else it would return some error. Okay, so let's complete this first. Okay, current check auth token. Okay, so here guys, we are just gonna say that if auth token or refresh token don't exist, simply going to error, show this error. Okay, else we are just going to say jwt.verify. Okay, jwt.verify and close this one. I am simply trying to check auth token is valid or not, and I'm going to provide my secret key so that I can check secret key available in my auth token, compare both of these. If they match, then auth token is valid. Okay, but it has also not been expired. it must not expire, it must match with the JWT secret key, right? In that case only auth token is valid. Okay, so if it returns an error, if suppose one day has been passed, okay, one day has been passed, so what you're gonna do is you're not going to log out after one day, you're going to check for refresh token. If refresh token has a limit of 10 days, so I can refresh my auth token again and again for 10 days. Okay, so suppose auth token has been expired, so I'm going to check for refresh token. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that check the refresh token. Okay, check the refresh token. So I'm just going to check it with the refresh secret key, provide the refresh token, and let's close it. Okay, so here also I'm just gonna say that if I receive an error, so I'm just going to say both tokens are now invalid, so obviously you need to log in again, so unauthorized. But suppose refresh token is still valid, auth token is expired but refresh token is still valid, so this would be the case, else case. So I'm just going to generate the new tokens very easily. I'm just going to generate the new tokens. I'm just going to decode the user ID. Obviously it would give me the object of user ID which we stored in the token. We have extracted it by verifying. Okay, so it would give me the object to user ID. So I have extracted the user ID. Okay, I extracted the user ID and created two new tokens, auth token and refresh token. Okay, once you create those tokens, again you set those tokens, very easy. Okay, then after that you're just gonna say that req.userid is the user ID. Okay, so now you might understand that how we got this user ID. Basically this returned the user ID. So after this, whatever is happening, it's because of this. Okay, so now after that, gonna come back here. Okay, you're gonna say that if there is no error, that means if auth token is not expired, in that case what you need to do, so you are gonna say okay, no need to check anything else, you can just say everything is fine, just return this, okay is true, message is this, next. Okay, just this. Okay, so let's come back here, and I'm gonna go back to this auth routes, and here you can see that if everything is fine you would get this, else you would receive the error response token. Response would be sent to the front end. Okay, if there is error or unauthorized or something like that. If there is no error, this would be called. Okay, if there was error, it would handle automatically, right? So now we have created the task for auth token handling, also middleware for auth token handling. You can see that we have done pretty much here, but yeah, we need to finish a lot of things today. Right now we have very less time, but yeah, we're gonna do this, and then after that we have one more video to finish the remaining things. Okay, so after that guys, we have the get user. Okay, so we have the get user, it's gonna give us the user data, very easy. Okay, so I'm just gonna get the user data. So for that I'm gonna explain it in short. First of all, I'm gonna check that if the user is authenticated or not. If the user is authenticated, then this next part would be called. That's why it's called a middleware. Okay, again here also, if it was authenticated, then only I gave the positive response. Similarly here, if user is authenticated, then only I'm gonna give the user data. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Here you can see I'm trying to find the user by user ID, remove the password field. We are not going to send the password to front end, else anyone can see this. Okay, then after that we are gonna say that if user is not found, this is the error. If user is found, here you can see response, and this would be the data, this would be the okay value as true, this would be the message. Okay, and in else case you can see that it's showing me error. Okay, now I think this is fine, and the last would be the logout function. Okay, so the logout function is also important. So in logout function, what we need to do is we need to simply clear the cookies from front end. Okay, so we have saved the cookies in the front end, so we're going to remove the cookies from the front end. Remember, I'm saying front end, not back end. Okay, it's not by mistake, it's front end. You are doing this for the front end. Cookies are cleared in the front end. Okay, so I'm going to clear the cookies, and after clearing the cookies, you're just going to say okay, that means logged out is true, logged out successfully. Very easy. Okay, so you can see that these user routes have been created. Okay, now I need to do some things for the classroom routes also. So I'm going to finish the classroom routes. Okay, so here guys, I have imported a few things, out of which you can see response function is done, auth token is done, classroom model is not done. So in classroom model, what we are going to do, we are going to simply import mongoose. Okay, and we're going to export the classroom model, and we're going to create a modal here. Okay, so let's create the classroom modal. So I've created the modal. Inside this, what we need to do is we need to say that in a classroom, we are going to provide the classroom name, whatever is the classroom name would be provided. Who owns the classroom? That means the teacher's ID. Okay, the teacher's user ID. Okay, so it would be taken from the user model itself. Okay, we are going to provide that specific user ID. It must match from the user model's data. Okay, so after that, we are going to say that created at. So created at would be actually here you can just say time stamps. Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay, timestamps is true. And what else you need is you need to provide the description. Okay, what else you need is you need to provide the users, the students who have joined this classroom. This would be the creator, and this would be containing an array of students who have joined this classroom. That's it, the id of all the students who have joined this classroom. Okay, that's it. So you can see that classroom model has also been created. Now I'm going to go back to classroom routes. Okay, so I'm going to go back to classroom routes, and guys, here I'm going to first of all call one API to create the classroom. Okay, and call an API to create the classroom. Again, it's going to check the token. Without login, you cannot create the classroom. Okay, and obviously it's only valid for teacher only. Okay, but yeah, since you can see that it's here. Okay, so now after that, classroom created by me. Okay, here you can simply, here you are creating a classroom. Here you are sending the list of classrooms which you have created as a teacher. So I am simply calling this API. It would first of all check I am logged in or not. Okay, then I'm simply going to call an API. Okay, but before that I need to create a classroom. So to create a classroom, what you need to do is you need to first of all ask for name and description. Very easy. If name is not provided, you can simply say classroom is required. Okay, but if name is name is provided, then in that case you're gonna say that try catch would be here. Okay, so in the try part, we're simply going to create a classroom. You're just going to say new classroom. Inside this, we are going to provide name, description, owner. So it would set it to the database. Okay, and then you're just going to save it in the database. Okay, and then you're going to send the response function. So your classroom has been created. Okay, you can add more security here. That is, you must be teacher only, yeah, etc. We can add that later, but right now it's here. Okay, so now after that, here in the get part, we are just going to say classrooms created by me. Here we are going to show a list of all classrooms which I have created. Okay, so here I'm just gonna say that I am simply returning all the classrooms whose owner matches with my user ID. That means I own the classroom, that owner ID is my ID. Okay, so I'm going to return all those classrooms. Else I'm gonna say internal server error. Okay, if there is any kind of issue, this would be the error. Else it would return something like this. Okay, so this is the thing. Now after that, guys, we have created all the APIs for today which we wanted to create, but now let's focus on the front end. Okay, so for focusing on the front end, this is the front end, right? So I'm just gonna open this front end and integrate it, terminal, and here, guys, I'm just gonna type npm start. Okay, before that I am gonna create .env file, and here, guys, you need to add your backend URL. Okay, so here you need to add your backend URL. So I'm just gonna create a variable named as React App API base URL. Here I've added my backend URL. Okay, so in the front end you have to add your backend URL so that your front end knows where to go. Okay, whom to talk. So there would be the backend URL. Front end would go to that URL to make communication. Okay, now let's continue. Feeling depressed, not getting a job. देखो if you are not getting a job, I have best solution. Like, personally, I would also follow this one. I would just go to the mountains and sell Maggie and chai there. Very easy. Like, I would personally do this if I am jobless someday. Okay, if AI takes over or something happens, this would be the thing which I would do. I would go to the mountains, sell Maggie and chai into the mountains. Perfect. Easy life. You're gonna enjoy your life also. You're gonna stay fit also, and you would stay in the mountains also. So everything would be covered. Okay. So don't be depressed. If you just try to find some more options. Okay. Life is not just getting a job. Right. Definitely, I know that there are some more reasons. You have to take care of your family also. There are some more reasons. So try different fields. Definitely you might find something which you like and it would be giving you enough money. Okay, and definitely I would say initially when you start something, it's not about you are earning more from starting. Generally a lot of people start very less. You would see companies give a very less package of 3.5 lpa, something like that. Or if I talk about myself, when I started 5 years ago, okay, I started teaching 5 years ago actually. So at that time I earned around 500 rupees in that month, in that whole month, 500 rupees. And right now I would not disclose it. Lord, I think it's enough for me to survive right now. But at that time, something else. So from earning 500 in a month to reaching till here, so it's something else. Okay, definitely I'm earning more than just a normal software engineer. Okay, like people earning 3 4 lakhs, it's very low now. But I'm just saying that initially you're going to earn very less. 500 per month is too less, but yeah, what can we do? But yeah, you need to find something. You need to at least get a job, basic job. Even you can become a majdoor or whatever you want, but just get a job. Okay, once you have that habit of getting money, you have that smell of money. After that you would do more, you would give your more efforts, you would run your brain, and definitely you will get more better jobs. Okay, so just get a job, any basic job. Even if you're getting less money, just get it. Okay, just go for it. Okay, so now after this I'll continue with the front end part. So you can see that in the front end I provided this backend URL, right? And now what I'm going to do is I am just going to open this front end. You can see npm start, and it would run my front end in localhost 3000. That means this is my front end URL. Okay, so localhost 3000, you can see it's here. Okay, so what would actually I need to do? So first of all I need to, okay, I'll just check if I can log in or not. So at J123, obviously, okay, I haven't added my APIs here, so it won't run properly. But yeah, first of all let's focus on this sign up page. Okay, let's focus on this sign up page. So here guys, what we need to do is I'll just go to the signup.js. Okay, signup.js here. Okay, so we are about to end the session in a few more minutes. Okay, I think 10-20 more minutes. Definitely it's a long session, but what can we do? We need to finish the project. Okay, that's why I'm not focusing that much on the UI, because you can see that backend was long enough to focus on the UI. Okay, so basically what we need is, we basically need to say whenever I send OTP. Okay, so handle send OTP function is called, right? So in this function I'm simply going to say, first of all, check if email is provided or not. If email is not provided, I'm gonna show a toast error, but I need to install toast first. Okay, so here I'm just going to install React Toastify. Okay, so you just need to type npm install React Toastify in front end. Okay, you just need to install React Toastify. Then you're gonna go to your app.js file, go to app.js file, and here guys you can just come, okay, and paste, just write toast container. Okay, and you need to, okay, it's gonna take a few seconds I guess. Not giving me suggestion. Anyways, I'm going to import the things. Okay, so you can just go to the React Toastify documentation, and there you would find the same piece of code and just copy it from there. So if I just save it, now I think the error is not here, the error is here. You just need to import the toast into the sign up page. So you can see import toast from React Toastify, and you can see there is no error. That means everything is fine. Okay, so once this is done, that means if you haven't provided the email, it would simply throw you this error. Okay, so let's test this. I think I made one mistake here, which is what, which is this toast container. Okay, so I'll just cut it and paste it here. Okay, yeah, now it would be fine. So I'm gonna go to sign up. If I click on send OTP, you can see please enter your email. So I need to enter email. Okay, so after I enter email, what must happen? So let's do that. Let's go to sign up page. Okay, and here I'm gonna create one hook known as loading. Okay, for loading state for OTP. Okay, Now here what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say that set loading would be here. Okay, so here guys, I'm just gonna say that just use try catch. Okay, and in catch case you're gonna say error sending OTP, and final case you're just gonna send set loading as false if it happens to be true. Okay, so finally is very important. Okay, so you can see set loading is true initially. Okay, that means I'm trying to set the OTP, which API I'm going to call. So I'm just going to call this response equals await fetch. Inside that I'm gonna provide my env URL like this. Then I'm gonna go to slash auth, that means auth routes of my backend. In that I have this send OTP API, so I'm just calling that. Okay, this is it. I'm just going to call that, right? So just make it a sync, right? Now this API is called, but inside that I need to simply say this method would be post. I want to call the post API. I need to provide the headers, so in headers you're just gonna say it like this, and in the body you're gonna simply provide the email to send OTP, and credentials include is important in all the APIs which we are going to use because of codes and cookies. Okay, so that's why just write it everywhere you need. Okay, you feel. Okay, then after that you'd get some response once OTP is sent, so you're gonna get some response, and then you're gonna simply say if response is okay, that means okay value is true, you're just gonna show this message. That's why I sent this type of value okay as true or false. It helps a lot. In else case I'm just gonna say failed to send OTP, or you're gonna show the message which you receive. Okay, that's it. Now if I just save it, and now let's try to use it. Okay, so if I first of all refresh it, and now if I try to just pass the email of suppose this guy and send OTP, can see OTP sent successfully. Okay, so now OTP is sent successfully. Let's go to my Gmail account to see if it works. Okay, so I'll go here to this email I sent OTP. You can see that now I received the OTP, right? It's working perfectly, right? So you received the OTP, and this OTP is also saved where? It's also saved in the database. So let me just show you the database now. So here you can see you have the database. Okay, here you can just see the verifications. Okay, in the verifications model you can see that yeah, this is the OTP which I sent to this email. Okay, so you can see this is the hash format, no one can recognize that. That's the benefit. Okay, that's the benefit. Okay, so you have received the OTP and it's also saved in the database. Now the front end user would simply provide the OTP, write the OTP into the input field. Okay, so you would remember we simply set the loading as true. So whenever loading is true, whenever loading is true, here you can just show some kind of text. You're just going to say that here I can just say that if loading is true, I'm just gonna show this wait text, else I'm gonna just load things. I'm just gonna say okay, so if I click on this you can see wait is here. Okay, wait, and then when loading would become false, you can see OTP sent successfully. Here you can show the activity indicator or something like that. That's up to you, but right now you can see that OTP is sent successfully. Perfect, right? So after that you can see we have enter OTP field. Okay, so here we need to enter OTP, we need to set a password, we need to select whether we want to become a student or teacher. So all of that would be passed to what? To the handle submit of sign up. Okay, you can see when sign up happens, it happens in the handle submit. So let's complete this one. Okay, so it's very easy. You're just going to say that first of all the fields must be here. Okay, all the fields must be here, name, email, password, OTP. If nothing is here, all fields are required. Okay, so it's the front end check also. In the backend also we have added checks, but front end also you can just do this on the front end, why unnecessary requests are made. Okay, so you can check directly on the front end only, right? So then after that if there is an error, you can just get the error, and then finally I wanna make set loading as false. Okay, so what you're gonna say is if loading is true, you can just do this. Okay, and here you're just gonna make this function as async. Okay, and after that you're just going to call the register API which we created in the backend, just like the send OTP method is post content type app.json. You're gonna send this data to the backend. Okay, you're gonna say credentials include, and after that you're just going to say that if you get the data converted to JSON, if it's okay, then registration is successful. You're gonna log in with that user. Okay, and you're gonna say navigate to home page. Okay, that's it, pretty easy. Okay, and in the other case you're gonna get the errors. Okay, so let's test it now, guys. So let's try to register this user. Okay, so now I'm gonna provide the OTP which I received. So what was the OTP which I received? So 264389. Okay, so I'm just gonna provide 264389. Okay, and then I'm gonna provide password for it. So I'll just choose some random password. Okay, and then after that, here you can just say that this person is suppose a teacher. So if I click on sign up, okay, I think there is an issue with the OTP. So if I click on send OTP, okay, if I click on send OTP, okay, so this is the OTP 316399. Okay, so now if I click on sign up, you can see registration is successful. Let's go to the database. So in the database, I can just go to the users, and here guys you would simply see that yeah, right now we registered this user. Okay, and the password is hashed. Perfect. And you can see automatically I got logged in also. Okay, so why don't I just keep it here only? Okay, so you can see that automatically I got, I think the UI is a little bit different in this browser, right? Oh, okay, I'll fix the UI in the upcoming video. You can see that register was successful. Okay, so I'll just try to register again with another email. Okay, so I'm just gonna say @j. I'm gonna suppose register with this email, and let's see. So yeah, I can send email to myself also. Okay, so this is the company email which sent email to the same email. Okay, but anyways, okay, so I'm gonna provide this. Okay, and I'm gonna say J. Okay, some simple password, and this time suppose I become a student, sign up. You can see that sign up is successful. Okay, once it is successful, you can see you're gonna go to the home page. Now here what you need to do, so if I refresh, you can see it's there, but I need to check the token also. So for that, guys, okay, first of all complete the login part also. We're gonna complete the login part, so I'm gonna log out first. Okay, here guys, I'm gonna complete the login part. Okay, so how we can complete the login part? Actually, I'll just fix the CSS a bit. Okay, I fixed the CSS a bit, a little bit of more tags, that's it. So now you would simply see that this is the login page, and here guys what I need to do is I need to get email and password, and then if I click on this login, I would simply handle the login API. Okay, so let's go to this login API. Okay, here guys we need to handle the login. Okay, we need to handle the login, not like this, we need to handle it properly. How we can do that? So here guys in this page we need to simply check for email and password. Okay, and also obviously you need to import toast. If email and password are there, then we are going to simply set loading as true. Okay, and if here set loading as true, and then after that we are gonna call a get request, a proper get request. So I'm gonna explain this now. So what actually happened is, first of all, make it async. So what actually happened is, you simply said inside try, you simply call the login API. Okay, and here you provided your email and password. Okay, and then credentials include is always, you can just provide it in every API you want. Okay, then you are simply going to convert the response in JSON format. If okay value is true, that means login successfully. You're going to set the data. Okay, you're going to set the data. uh, Here you just need to pass data dot data. Okay, that would be fine. Data dot data. Actually, the response would be data. Inside that we have message, data, okay, and things like that. Okay, so I'm just saying that if data dot data is here, that would be fine. Okay, so data what dot data would contain the user object. Okay, then after that, if data dot message, else login failed. Okay, so it would be the else case. If there is server issue, an error occurred. Okay, finally set loading as false. Okay, so these are the things. So now guys what we need to do is we need to simply go here. Okay, and I'm gonna log in at Okay, so if I click on this, you can see that yeah, ID password were correct. So you can see logged in successfully. Perfect. So I have logged in successfully. Now I'm gonna focus on this get page. Okay, on this check login part. Okay, so how can I do that? So I'm gonna go here in app.js. In app.js, here guys, you can see that I'm calling the protected route. Here I'm just checking the data from where? From the local storage only. Use context is only working from the local storage. But who is checking the token? So for checking the token, we need to call the check login route here. Okay, so again, in this home page, what we need to do is we need to simply call these two things first. Okay, and here I'm going to import use navigate from React router DOM. Okay, then whenever there is a change, or like, okay, whenever there is a change in login, okay, whenever there is a change in login, that means whenever someone tries to log in, and whenever there is a change in my context, okay, or whenever I go to any other page, in that case, do something. Okay, so by the way, you need to import login also. So whenever there is a change in login, whenever login function is called from anywhere, this use effect would also run. Or whenever there is a change in page, either you go from login to sign up, or you go from login to home page, or you go from home page to profile page, this would always run. Okay, this route, whenever route changes, this would always run. Okay, every single click. Okay, so now after that, here what we need to do is we need to simply check off login. Okay, we need to simply check login. Okay, so simply call this function. Okay, and here what you need to do is you need to simply call the check login API. Okay, so inside this try, you're gonna call that, and in the catch case, you're simply going to throw the error. Okay, and you're simply going to say set loading as false. Okay, and you need to import this toast. Okay, so inside the test, inside the try, what we need to do is we simply need to provide the check login. We need to provide the credentials, that means the token stored in the front end, or token refresh token would be provided to the backend. Backend would simply compare it. If it returns true, if the response of this is okay, then what we are going to get, we are simply going to say that if response is okay, then everything is okay. Okay, if response is okay, everything is okay. Okay, but if response is not okay, just throw this error. Okay, just throw this error. Okay, so or every response you're gonna get the user ID, obviously, so it's gonna set the user ID. Okay, in else case, you're gonna throw this to the login page. Okay, so it's gonna happen always, and I think now there is some issue. Use state and use effect are not defined. Okay, you need to import it, and also guys, you need to import the use effect. Okay, fine, I think now there is no issue. Okay, fine, perfect. So now every time whenever I refresh, it would check from the database also. If you don't feel, if you don't trust me, you can just go here in the backend. Okay, and here guys, I can just go to index.js. Okay, and here guys, what we need to do is we need to simply go to this auth routes, and here we can just go down and check login. Okay, here I'm just gonna call this console dot log. uh Here I can just print the user ID or req dot message. Okay, that would be better. Okay, check login. Okay, so if I just save this, and now you would see the magic. You can see whatever it is, you'll get it. Okay, so whatever is the message, you're gonna get here. Okay, so I think it's running unnecessarily also sometimes, so I'm gonna fix it now. So here guys, what we can do is in the front end, where is my front end? Inside this, we can simply change this condition. Actually, it's running again and again. So what we are going to do is we are just going to say whenever there is a change in navigation, whenever there is a change in navigation, in that case only it would be called. So if I just refresh, you can see it's called. Okay, whenever I refresh, it is called. That means it's not calling again and again. Whenever there's change in navigation, in that case it is called. Okay, so this condition is fine. Okay, don't pass the login function, right? So you can see that this check works properly. And once this check works properly, what you're going to do is you're not going to return anything. You're just going to say that if loading is true, okay, if loading is true, you're just going to show loading text, okay, in the whole app. Okay, you're going to show loading indicator or whatever you want. In else case, you're just going to say if you found the user, just go to the login page. If you don't found the user, just go to the login page. Okay, if you don't find the token, and in that case also just go to the login page. Okay, in that case also we're going to the login page. Now guys, we're gonna create the one more route, which is profile page. Okay, we're gonna create the last thing here, and after that we can end this session. We're gonna focus it on the next video. Okay, so here we're just gonna call it profile page dot js. Okay, and I'm just gonna write it here, and here I'm gonna write it css. So profile page dot css. Okay, and then after that what we need to do is we need to simply create that route. So I'm gonna go to app.js. Okay, and here guys I can just paste it. I'm just saying that whenever I go to /profile, it shows me the profile page, but yeah, if I am logged in, then only. In else case it's gonna send me the login page. That's why I provided it inside the protected route. Okay, that's fine. So you can see that I need to import profile page. You can see need to import profile page. That's it. Okay, so now from my nav bar, if I click on this, you can see I went to the profile page. Now inside profile page, what do I need to do? I need to get the profile data. Okay. So for that, first of all, I need to import a few things. I need to import few things at the top of the profile page. Fine, I've imported those. Profile page css, and I think we are not going to need use auth, so this is all fine. Okay, then after that we are going to simply say user as user value. We are going to store the user data here. We are going to set true and false here. Okay, then we are going to create a few more hooks which we are going to use, that is show pop-up. So we're going to create a pop-up later. Then also we are going to create hook for classroom name, description, classroom created by me, all of these things. Okay, fine. Now guys, what we are going to do is we are going to simply fetch the user data. How we can fetch the user data? So whenever I come to this page, I want to fetch the user data. You can save this user data to the context also, so that you don't need to load it again and again. But yeah, if you want to, you can store it here, load it again and again whenever you visit this page. Okay, so fetch user. So whenever I visit this page, I'm gonna call fetch user. So inside the fetch user, what I'm gonna do, I'm just simply gonna say that try, and in the catch part we are simply going to say that handle the error. Okay, now in the try part, how we are going to get that? So we have simply created an API, right? Get user API inside the auth routes, right? So we're simply going to call that, and we're going to provide our token. So with the help of our token, it's gonna get the user data. Okay, that's it. So once it gets the data, I'm simply going to say set user as this data.data. That means inside that I am gonna get the user data, right? That's the type of response which a response function gives. And in the else case, I'm gonna say fail to fetch user data. Okay, so after that, you are just gonna say that similarly we're gonna create one more API for fetching classrooms. Okay, so fetch my classrooms. Okay, so this API would also be created. So inside this API, I'm simply going to fetch my classrooms. So I'm just gonna say inside this, just inside the class routes. Okay, inside that we have provided this classrooms created by me route, right? So I'm just gonna call that with the help of this credential, with the help of my token. It's gonna get my user data. From that user data, it's gonna get my classrooms. Okay, so inside the backend, I have simply done that. Okay, it's already done. And then after that, whatever response I get, I'm gonna set it, right? Very easy. Then after that, I'm just gonna say that whenever there is a change in user data, just fetch the classrooms. Okay, pretty easy. Okay, so it's like initially user data is empty, so obviously it would take time. So whenever I get the user data, then try to fetch the classrooms. Okay, and then I want to create classroom also. So whenever I try to create classroom, in that case, what you need to do, So try catch would be here, right? Inside the try catch, inside the try part, what we need to do is we simply need to call this create method. So inside the create method, what we are going to provide the classroom name, and the description, and the API name, create API name. Okay, and the credentials obviously always needed to check if you are logged in or not. Okay, so now I'm just going to say that whatever is the response, it would be there. After that, classroom created successfully. Then after that, I'm gonna clean the form fields. Okay, then I'm gonna close the pop-up. I've not created the pop-up yet, but yeah, then I'm gonna refresh the classrooms. Okay, in else case, I'm gonna throw the message error. Okay, this is it. Now I'm gonna go to this profile page, complete this profile page. Okay, so I'll just give this a class name of profile page. Okay, and inside this, I'm just gonna say that if loading is true, okay, then you're gonna show loading. Then after that, I'm gonna call nested ternary operator. If user is there, then what to do? If user is not there, then what to do? And then just close this. Actually, I did one mistake. Um, Let me first complete this part, okay? Else you would get confused. Okay, so what you would do is inside this user, you're just gonna create an empty tag first. Okay, now inside this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna store some things. Okay, we're gonna store some things. After doing that, we are gonna just end it like this. Okay, that's it. So yeah, if we don't have the user at the end, in both cases, if loading is true, okay, in that case it would be there. Then after that, it's gonna check for user. If user is not there, at the end it's gonna show this. Okay, but if loading is false, then only this would run. If loading is true, only this would run. Okay, if loading is false, this part would run. Okay, that's it. Now here guys, what we're gonna do is we're just going to say that at the heading we're gonna show profile. Then I'm gonna show some user info here, pretty basic user info. So I'm just gonna say that it's gonna contain a division. Inside that, I've shown some temporary image URL. Okay, temporary image link. Okay, and I've given this a class name. Similarly, I have a division of profile details, contains name, email, role of the user which you have created. If role is teacher, then only user can create the classroom. Okay, if you are a teacher, then only you can create the classroom. Okay, so this is it. Now the next thing would be show pop-up. Okay, so show pop-up. So for that, what we're gonna do is if show pop-up value is true. Okay, if you click on create classroom, show pop-up value would become true. Okay, if this is true, then we are gonna create a division. Okay, we are going to create a division. Just a minute guys. Okay, so here we come back, and here what we need to do is we need to simply set up the pop-up content. So inside this pop-up content, I'm going to give the heading of create classroom, and when I type input field, so inside this input field I simply provide the classroom name. Similarly, I'm going to provide the description inside the text area. Okay, similarly, I'm going to provide a row of buttons, that is submit and cancel button. Okay, so whenever I click on this submit button, it's gonna handle the create classroom function. It's gonna call handle create classroom. In the cancel, I'm gonna just close it. Okay, that's it, right? So now let's check if it's working or not. Okay, so if it looks fine or not. So you can see error occurred while fetching classrooms. Why? Because I haven't okay, one mistake. What's the error? Okay, let me just check the error. Okay, so you can see server responded with status 404. Basically, this route is, I think, not found. Why it's not found? Because in my backend, I did one mistake. I found that mistake. Let's go to index.js and uncomment this. Okay, then it would be able to recognize the class routes. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now if you refresh, you can see that it's first of all loading the user data. Okay, and now it has some error, I guess, because my app crashed maybe. So let me just handle the login part. Okay, router.use requires a middleware but got a type function. Okay, requires a middleware but type function. Okay, so here I haven't exported actually. So some silly mistakes which I did. Anyways, I'll just fix it. Okay, I'll just fix it. Just give me a second. So here you need to export the router also. You haven't exported the router, right? So now it would work fine. Okay, so now if I refresh, okay, if I log in, invalid credentials. Okay, fine. So you can see that it's working perfectly. Now if I go here, you can see I got the user data, but since I'm a student, I'm not able to create the classroom. So now I would become a teacher. Okay, so now I'd log in as a teacher. So you can see I've logged in as a teacher ID, and you can see I got create classroom, and then I got this pop-up. Okay, very easy, right? Now after that pop-up, I'm gonna obviously style that. After that pop-up, okay, so I'll create the classroom. Okay, so let me just create the classroom CLS1, some description, submit. Okay, then again. Okay, so you can see that I've created two classrooms. Now I need to show that classroom, show those classrooms. So again, I've gotten that I need to show this in my page. Okay, so how can I do that? So for that, we're gonna simply say that here we are going to get our classrooms. So here we're going to get our classroom. So I'm just gonna say that if my user dot role equals a teacher, okay, if user dot role is equal to a teacher, then what I'm going to get classrooms created by me. Okay, so I'm just gonna get classrooms created by me. In else case, that means I'm a student, I'm gonna get the classrooms joined by me. Okay, in the student case, classrooms joined by me. Okay, so I'm gonna do the student part later, but the teacher part, let's do that. So here first of all, heading. Okay, then guys, I'm gonna show the classrooms which I got in the table. Okay, so I'll just store the classroom created by me in the array. Okay, how you update that? So you can simply say fetch classroom does that for me. Okay, fetch classroom, simply get the array of the classrooms which I created. So you can see I got the array of classrooms here. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to just style this very fast. It's not a big task here. Some basic styles. So I'm just gonna say that profile info and profile page would be styled like this, right? Then after that, I'm gonna have the profile picture and profile details. Okay, right, like this. Then after that, guys, I'm gonna target the button and button hover. Okay, so you can see button and button hover. Okay, then after that, I'm gonna target the pop-up overlay and pop-up content. Okay, so you can see that whenever I click on this, you can see it looks like this. This is overlay and this is the content. Inside the pop-up, we are going to target the buttons and text input and text area. So I'm going to target that. So text input, text area, and the buttons. Okay, so you can see now it looks better. Okay, now inside that buttons, we have specific buttons. So I'm just gonna say specific buttons are gonna be styled like this. Okay, so this is it. And if I hover on those buttons, obviously I'm gonna highlight this a bit. Okay, decrease the color. Then after that, inside the classroom list, I'm just gonna say that it's gonna be a table. So I'm just gonna convert this to a table. You can see this is converted to a table, but I need to have some border and some extra things. Okay, so I'm gonna style my table very easily. So you can see that basically we have styled our table. So we created a table, we have given this borders, then we have styled the th heading. Okay, then we have said even not, so even color, even rows would simply be having this color, and if I hover on this, the color would change. Okay, so you can see it's like this. It's like this. So you can see that this is the classroom created by me. And suppose if I log out and I log in as a student now. Okay, if I log in as a student, so you can see I'm logged in as a student. If I go to profile page, you can see classroom joined by me. That means I'm a student, so I would be able to see classroom joined by me. Since it is empty, so it's empty. Okay, you can just show some kind of empty field here, or no classrooms available, something like that. But you can see that that's differentiating the student and teacher. So you can see now I'm logged in as a teacher. You can see that, okay, I'm sorry, I'm logged in as a student. Now I'm gonna log in as a teacher. Okay, 013. and here you can just see that yeah, teacher has created these classrooms. Okay, so in the next video we're gonna complete the join classroom, search classroom, and add notes part in the next video, okay, of this project. Okay, so now guys, what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna upload the source code to GitHub. Let me just write here masters gang backend, masters gang backend. Okay, and now guys, I'm gonna upload the backend code to the GitHub account. Okay, I did one mistake. I guess I must not upload the node modules, but anyways, okay, anyways, leave it. Okay, you won't upload the node modules and just add this to git ignore. Well, right now I've uploaded everything. Okay, so here guys, you can see that the backend code is also available, front-end code is also available. And now if you want to get the source code, what you need to do is you just need to go to my GitHub profile, just type github.com/viraj014. In the repositories, you would find masters gang backend, masters gang front end. Okay, you would find this. You can just open this and you'll get the source code. Okay, so the next part would be covered in the next video, that means tomorrow. So please watch tomorrow's video also, and please watch the previous video, part 1 and part 2. Okay, so that's it for today. I will see you in the next one. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.